Have you ever looked back on your life and thought, if only I knew then what I know now? It's a common feeling, and it happens to all of us. We spend years learning the hard way, through mistakes, stress, and regret. But what if I told you that there are powerful psychological strategies that can save you from all of that? What if you could start applying them now and completely transform how you live your life? Imagine you could handle stress without breaking a sweat. Imagine facing any challenge with calm confidence because you know you're prepared mentally and emotionally. Sounds good, right? Well, these strategies can do exactly that. But here's the catch. Most people learn them too late, after years of unnecessary struggle. You don't have to be one of them. In today's video, I'm going to break down 6 of the most powerful psychological strategies that Stoicism teaches us. Strategies that can change how you think, feel, and act in everyday life. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical tools that you can use starting today. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with the mental skills that take others a lifetime to learn. So, whether you're struggling with stress, feeling overwhelmed, or just looking for a better way to navigate life, this video is for you. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for all 6 strategies because each one builds on the last. Miss one, and you might miss the breakthrough you've been looking for. Before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, do me a favor. Hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and of course, subscribe to the channel. It really helps the Stoic community grow, and I've got more life-changing content coming your way. Now, let's get started. 1. Embrace what you can't control. The first strategy might seem obvious, but its impact is profound. Embrace what you can't control. So much of our stress comes from trying to control things that are simply out of our hands. Whether it's how other people behave, how the economy turns out, or even the weather, most of the things that we worry about daily are completely beyond our influence. Yet, we still try to control them, and when we fail, we feel anxious, frustrated, and helpless. Think of a time when something went wrong in your life. Maybe a missed job opportunity, a failed relationship, or even just a ruined vacation because of bad weather. In those moments, we feel powerless. But what if instead of focusing on what went wrong, you focused on what you could control? You can't change the past, but you can control how you respond to it. Here's an example. Imagine you've been preparing for a big event, and the night before you come down with a cold. At first, you panic. How am I going to do this? But then you realize, I can't control being sick, but I can control how I handle it. You decide to rest, take care of yourself, and do the best you can under the circumstances. This shift in focus makes all the difference. Stoicism teaches us that our power lies in how we react, not in trying to control the uncontrollable. Once you embrace this truth, you'll notice a massive reduction in your stress levels. Instead of fighting the world, you'll start flowing with it. When things don't go as planned, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? That simple question can change your entire outlook. The freedom that comes with this realization is life-changing. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll find yourself becoming more resilient and more at peace, regardless of what life throws at you. 2. Master your inner dialogue. The second strategy is about mastering something that's with you 24/7, your inner dialogue. Your mind is constantly talking to you, but here's the thing. Most people don't pay attention to what it's saying. They let negative thoughts run wild, which affects their mood, decisions, and overall happiness. But if you can master that inner voice, you can change the way you experience life. Let's get real for a moment. Have you ever been in a situation where you're about to do something important, like an interview or a presentation, and your mind suddenly starts feeding you doubts? You're going to mess this up. You're not good enough. It's harsh, and the worst part is we believe it. We let our inner dialogue tear us down when it should be lifting us up. This is where Stoicism steps in. Stoics believed in controlling that inner voice and making it your ally. Instead of letting it sabotage you, they practiced self-awareness and would challenge negative thoughts as soon as they popped up. Imagine your mind is like a garden. If you don't tend to it, weeds, negative thoughts will grow. But if you take care of it, nurture it with positive and rational thoughts, it will flourish. Next time you catch yourself in a spiral of negative self-talk, pause and ask, Is this thought true? Is it helpful? If the answer is no, discard it. Replace it with a more constructive thought. For example, instead of, "I'm not good enough for this job," try thinking, "I've prepared well, and I'm capable of handling whatever comes my way." It's not about being overly positive. It's about being rational and kind to yourself. Mastering your inner dialogue isn't something that happens overnight. It takes practice, but it's one of the most rewarding habits you can develop. Once you start treating yourself with the same kindness and rationality that you'd offer a close friend, you'll notice a huge shift in your confidence and well-being. 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. One of the most misunderstood strategies is this: practice voluntary discomfort. In today's world, we're conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs. We seek out comfort in everything, from the softest couches to the easiest jobs. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from leaning into discomfort, not running away from it. Picture this. It's a freezing morning, and you're tempted to stay in bed under the warm covers. The last thing you want to do is get up and face the cold. But what if you got up anyway? What if you embraced the discomfort and went for a run? This isn't just about physical toughness. It's about training your mind to be okay with things not being perfect. Stoics believe that by deliberately facing discomfort, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, you become more resilient when life throws unexpected challenges your way. It's like building mental muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you get. And when real difficulties arise, you won't crumble because you've trained yourself to handle tough situations. For example, you might practice fasting, taking cold showers, or limiting your social media time. These small acts of discomfort teach your brain that it doesn't need to avoid every difficult situation. Instead, you become more adaptable and resilient. You learn that discomfort is temporary, and it's something you can handle. The key here is consistency. Practicing voluntary discomfort doesn't mean you should make life harder than it has to be. It's about pushing your boundaries a little bit at a time. Over the years, you'll find that things that once seemed overwhelming, like difficult conversations, physical challenges, or mental stress, are now manageable. 4. Detach from outcomes. Now, let's talk about something that affects almost everyone: our obsession with outcomes. We've all been there. We work hard on something, and our happiness depends entirely on whether it succeeds or fails. If it turns out well, we're on top of the world. If it doesn't, we feel like everything was for nothing. This attachment to outcomes can be mentally exhausting. Stoicism teaches us a different approach: detach from the outcome. Focus on what you can control: the effort, the work, the preparation. Once that's done, let go of the result. This doesn't mean you don't care about success, but you understand that the outcome is influenced by many factors beyond your control. Here's an example. You've studied for weeks for a big exam. You did your best, you prepared as much as you could, but on exam day, something unexpected happens. Maybe you're not feeling well, or the questions are harder than you expected. In that moment, you can choose to stress over the outcome, or you can focus on the effort you put in. Did you do your best? Then that's all that matters. By focusing on the process rather than the result, you'll find that life becomes less stressful. You'll still work hard, but you won't let the outcome determine your happiness. Detaching from outcomes allows you to enjoy the journey and reduces anxiety about things that are ultimately out of your hands. So, the next time you find yourself obsessing over how something will turn out, take a step back. Ask yourself, have I done everything I can? If the answer is yes, then let go of the rest. You'll find peace in knowing that you've done your part. 5. Embrace impermanence. This next strategy is one that's both beautiful and difficult to accept. Everything is temporary. Life, by its very nature, is constantly changing. We cling to people, places, and moments, hoping they'll last forever, but nothing ever does. And that's okay. Once you embrace impermanence, you'll start to live with more appreciation for the present and less fear of the future. Think of the last time you were incredibly happy. Maybe it was during a vacation or when you were with loved ones. At the time, it felt like that joy would last forever. But it didn't, did it? The moment passed, and that's part of life. However, the same is true for the tough times. They pass too. By accepting that nothing lasts forever, you can begin to enjoy life as it is without constantly worrying about holding on to things. Stoicism encourages us to see impermanence not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. It's a reminder to live fully in the moment, knowing that change is inevitable. This mindset helps you stay grounded in tough times and appreciative in the good ones. When you're struggling, remind yourself that this too shall pass. When you're happy, savor the moment because it's fleeting. This perspective allows you to live with more presence and less attachment. Embracing impermanence also means accepting that life is full of transitions. The more comfortable you get with this idea, the less you'll fear change, and the more you'll appreciate the present. 6. Understand the power of perspective. The last strategy is arguably the most important. Understanding the power of perspective. Perspective is everything. How you choose to see a situation can completely change how you experience it. Two people can go through the same event and come out with completely different feelings, just because they viewed it differently. Let's say you're faced with a tough situation, like losing a job. One person might see this as the end of the world, a failure they'll never recover from. Another person might see it as an opportunity, a chance to pivot, learn new skills, and maybe even pursue a dream they've been putting off. The situation is the same, but the way they interpret it changes everything. Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to choose our perspective. You can see obstacles as opportunities or failures as learning experiences. It's not about ignoring reality, but about choosing the interpretation that empowers you rather than disempowers you. For example, the next time you face a challenge, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift in perspective can make all the difference. You go from feeling like a victim of your circumstances to feeling in control of your growth. Most people learn the power of perspective too late, after years of letting their emotions and circumstances dictate their lives. But you don't have to wait. You can start practicing this now, and watch as your entire outlook on life begins to shift. When you realize that you control how you interpret the world, you unlock a level of freedom that few people ever experience. There you have it, 6 powerful psychological strategies that most people learn too late in life. But you don't have to wait. You can start using them today, and I guarantee you'll see a shift in how you approach challenges, emotions, and life in general. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. These strategies will help you become more resilient, more at peace, and more in control of your mental well-being. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on how Stoic principles can help you live a better life. Let's grow this community together and keep striving for a Stoic mindset.